New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams. NYC.
What's going on? This is Jay Ellis from Nick of Time Show here, give you that Knicks talk just in the nick of time. And if you're watching right now, you're seeing Ryan G in HD. Gunshots of Ryan G and his new camera and new lights. And we also got that gunshots for the Knicks because the Knicks beat the Orlando Magic by 30 points, 118 to 88. And we had a bunch of career games tonight, and I'm gonna start off with my guy, Immanuel Quickley. Immanuel Quickley gives you 20 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, only 1 turnover, and it's a great day for Immanuel Quickley, who gives you his first career triple double. Gunshots for Immanuel Quickley. Obi Toppin gives you 40% from 3, 20 points and 8 rebounds, and he gets Obi chance in Florida. Gunshots for Obi Toppin. RJ Barrett recovers from a slumping night the night before and gives you 27 points, and most importantly to me, 6 assists, and the Knicks roll on and beat the Orlando Magic 118 to 88, and we're going to talk all about it. We're going to talk about the good, we're going to talk about the bad, time to beat those rotations, and the ugly, but one more time, gunshots for Ryan G's camera. Let's go. Clap it up for Ryan G's camera, everybody, because this is amazing. You can see the lineup is fresh. You can see the points and the mustache. You can see everything. Shout out to Ryan G and his camera. And thank you for the super chats who helped pay for Ryan G's camera and lights. All right, cool.
Yes, sir. Now the people can see where their money's going towards.
Exactly. Oh, man. So there's a lot to talk about the game. Before we even break down the game, first, you already know what it is, man. You got to hit the like button, subscribe button, and comment below after the game is over. It's going to help, the YouTube algorithms. Algorithms going to help push KOT to the top of the YouTube streets. So thank you guys for your support. All right, all right, let's go. I'm gonna just start off by saying let's talk about Immanuel Quickley. Immanuel Quickley didn't really shoot well per se, but we keep having this argument about he's a point guard or not. You can't deny, point guard or not, he affects the game. And for a guy who isn't the point guard, boy, oh boy, does he sure find his teammates. Give you 10 assists on the night. He gives you, to me, I was going between him and RJ Barrett as the best lob passer on the team. I'm going with IQ, our best lob passer on the team. Maybe Derrick Rose might have something to say about that if he comes back, but to me, RJ, he's the best lob passer on the team. Might be the best fast break go-ahead passer on the team. And to me, his gravity when he runs off of screens, when he's driving to the hole, he creates the most space out of anybody on this Knicks to create open shots for everybody, which is why he's so important to our team in creating offense. And I know these guys, I know you're seeing this game today. I know you guys are saying, is he a point guard? Is he not a point guard? I need to ask you something, Ryan. At this point, at the end of the season, you're looking at how our money is allocated. You got to re-sign Mitchell Robinson, maybe. People have been talking about Jalen Brunson. If you're looking at Quickley, are you in the offseason going after another point guard? Or are you feel like you should stay pat and look to upgrade somewhere else?
It's tough because when you look at the Knicks roster as a whole, it does seem like there's 2 possible holes. Like the Knicks need either a stretch big or the Knicks need a point guard. But this is tough because you look at the Knicks roster, it's like, okay, IQ right now is showing that he's capable of playing a point guard role. But you have to also remember Rose is injured.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have Rose come back next season as well. And Rose can definitely, hold his own at the point guard position. So right there, that's 2 point guards. Then you have McBride, who's going to be a third guard. So I think IQ's emergence and him showing that he's capable of playing the point guard role, I think it puts less importance on the Knicks to get a point guard. Like, okay, so if the Knicks had a chance to go for a point guard, whether it be through free agency or through the draft, then it's an upgrade. I wouldn't be opposed to getting a point guard, but do I see it as like a huge need at the moment? No, because we still have Derrick Rose here. Derrick Rose can definitely, take up some of those minutes at point guard and have IQ play, that role off the bench because he's definitely great at that role. I would like to see IQ as a starter though, just to see if there's something there, just to experiment a bit to see if he can play that starting role. But I definitely like IQ off the bench as that guy, that six man who can come into the game and definitely impact the game off the bench. But yeah, I think at the moment it's not a huge need with the way IQ is playing a point guard position at the moment.
Yeah, and I see Kareem Grant says IQ is a combo guard, and you can still say IQ is a combo guard seriously because it's crazy because you'll watch games like this, and IQ has 10 assists today, and you look at the whole game and go, you know what? There are still some opportunities in this game where IQ could have, maybe passed the ball a couple of more times. You know what I mean? You could have like passed up a shot a few times. Like there was a point in the game where I think he was in the corner and the clock was running down and I felt like two people was kind of collapsing on him in the corner and he shot like a almost fadeaway-ish three and RJ was kind of open at the elbow. I felt like there was opportunity there for him to pass the ball to RJ at the elbow. So like he's not the perfect guy, but he's still a guy who can pass the ball enough to disrupt the defense and is enough a scoring threat to kind of carrying offense, because let's face it, the bench unit was in trouble when Derrick Rose went down, and Derrick Rose going down might be one of those long-term blessings in disguise because it forced IQ to have to figure it out, and it took a while, but our IQ figured it out. IQ figured out how to kind of stabilize the bench, so in the long term, it might have helped us. So when I'm looking at the long-term outcome and I'm thinking about, re-signing Mitch, Cam Reddish, maybe have to being signed. Because shout out to Ian Beckley, because I saw a video about and Ian Beckley saying that, teams are thinking about paying Cam Reddish about 18 mil. You know what I mean? Yeah, that was a going rate for him. So when you think about that, when you think about Mitch, when you think about the fact that RJ is going to need money, right? Then you start to think, well, damn, maybe we should just try to develop the point guards we have here, see what happens, clear the pathway for McBride and other guys, and take a look at this IQ direction at point guard. But this is kind of the frustration with Tom Thibodeau, because for us to get more of a definitive answer, like Ryan G said, we have to see him as in the starter role. But he got starters minutes today, 33 minutes tonight. He didn't get the starter role per se, but he got the starters minutes. So I might consider holding pat at the point guard position for me. I think I'm with you on that, especially when I consider the money that has to come out later. And we still have Evan Fournier here. We still have Nerlens Noel here who are expirings. So maybe we'll be able to move some of those pieces to clear some cap to make some moves to help us pay for some things down the line. That can also be an answer.
Yeah, because like you said, the whole money thing, you have to take that into consideration. Like, will there be any money left over for the Knicks to actually go after a point guard? Or if the Knicks actually sign that point guard, will the Knicks be able to actually re-sign Mitch and re-sign RJ and those guys as well? So you have to take that into consideration also.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad you touched on that as well, because I forgot to mention that point. I just looked at it from a roster perspective and looking at IQ's emergence as a point guard. But yeah, when you add the money as well, it makes sense. It makes more sense for Knicks to stay pat at point guard unless the Knicks, end up with a good draft position and they decide to go after a point guard, where they draft another young guard. But it's like, there's a logjam there as well. Yeah. So there's definitely a lot of questions the Knicks, front office is gonna have to answer, once the off season is here.
Right. So like I'm with you, man. And what else is too? Like if you're looking at this team, we gotta put these guys in positions to win, man. We gotta put these guys in positions to win. And yesterday's game, I was pissed a little bit because Obi Toppin is starting for Julius Randle because Julius Randle is out. I, of course, am exuberant about that, right? But yesterday, we did not get to see Obi Toppin and Immanuel Quickley play together until, like, the wee hours of the third quarter. And to me, and I said it yesterday, that was a crime against humanity for me, right? Like, to separate these two, the peanut butter and jelly, like, you can't do that. You definitely can't do that. And shout out to Schwinn. And he also was like, we need to see RJ and IQ together. And I've actually said I want to see them together more a couple of weeks ago as well. Today we got to see RJ, IQ, and Obi together. Thibs did a great job of actually staggering the minutes. And when we saw those three together, that's when we start to see a push. So no matter what we do, it's apparent we got to keep IQ and Obi. You can't separate those guys, man. It's like Batman and Robin. You can't. You just can't do it. You just can't do it. But speaking of Obi Toppin, man. Toppin getting Obi chance in Florida. Matches his career high, 20 points. Gives you 20 points. Oh, this is the wrong stats. I'm sorry, Obi. I'm sorry. This is yesterday's stats. Gives you 20 points, 8 rebounds on the night for Obi Toppin. What does he see from Obi's game tonight, man? And what do you think this game? Do you feel like this game has any bearings on Obi in the future?
Well, let me start off by talking about Obi's game tonight. I think he definitely played well tonight. Clearly, his shooting numbers, he didn't shoot his usual efficient game tonight. He did miss a couple easy buckets he could have got. He missed a few easy shots, but besides that, Obi definitely provided the energy like he normally does. Gets out on the fast break. IQ found him a few times, and he's able to go in for dunks and stuff like that. He shows the energy on defense, which is what I like, and overall, Obi is definitely stepping up in those starting minutes. Now, what impact it's going to have on the future, that's going to, that's yet to be decided because, there's still Julius Randle on the roster. We still have to see what the Knicks are going to do with Julius Randle once the offseason comes because, if you have to be honest about it, at the moment, Julius Randle's value may not be as high at the moment. So the Knicks front offices are going to have to think, okay, is it worth it to trade Julius Randle and us getting less back in return? Or do we keep him and see if he can rebuild his relationship with the fans and and try to rebuild his value going into next season, and maybe at the trade deadline you trade him then.
Right.
But I don't think it has any effect on Obi's future. It's going to depend on whether Julius Randle stays with the team or not once the next season comes.
I feel like bare minimum Obi has to play 20 minutes a game next season, and that's bare minimum. It's funny. I got to his argument on Twitter because this guy was trying to claim that Obi's plus when Obi gets 30 minutes a night, sure he has good rebound numbers, sure he gives you like around 18 points a game, but he's a bad 3-point shooter once he hits 30 plus minutes, and he's basing that off like three games, right? Yeah. And I'm sitting here like, you can't make judgments on a player based off of 3 games. And the same goes to Tom Thibodeau, which is why Tom Thibodeau pisses me off, because Tom Thibodeau does the same thing where he goes, Alec Burks is the best starting guard we have, and he has 67 games to go by and only starts IQ 3 times and says, I looked at the data when he clearly hasn't looked at the data, because even with the small sample size of IQ, his plus minus, his percentages have been better than Burks, but I digress. That's a whole nother conversation. But Obi Toppin shot 40% from the 3 tonight. Obi Toppin had the high plus minus of the game tonight, plus 46. it's to me he's kind of proves to me that he just needs more minutes to grow and needs more minutes to figure it out. I think the jump shot is going to get there. I feel like the mid-range game is coming. I feel like if given more reps, that you'll see more passing, and he might not be. I want to experiment with him, man, because as of now, you see glimpses of, not today. You see glimpses of an Obi post game where he can post up smaller players, and that kind of gives me hope that once he starts to get more strength in his legs and his body, he can post up bigger players. And the fact that he has an eye for passing makes me feel like maybe there's a pathway for him being a number one option. Although right now he's just specifically a kind of a run the floor, easy baskets player. That's fine to me. It's fine to me where he is, because we still have guys who can give you paint touches on his team, and can control double teams on his team, where we can utilize Obi's strength still not miss a beat. Now it might be shaky if you move on from Randall. It might be shaky at spots, but I still feel like we can start to figure out how to live life without Randall in the future. But it's going to take more paint touches. It's going to take more passing from guys like RJ Barrett. Shout out to RJ Barrett, good 6 assists today. And it's going to take a greater team effort, but I feel like a pathway is there. And also shout out to Ian Begley, because I was watching a segment on Ian Begley, and he was talking about Julius Randle's trade value, and he made an interesting point. He said that the CBA is going up, and he feels like because the CBA might renegotiate, the salary cap, it might go up. Julius Randle's contract isn't as bad as we might think it is. And also, he also feels like there was a number of teams who were interested in Julius Randle. So his value might not be as bad as we think it is. Still is lower than last year's, but we still might be able to move something and get something back of value. Is that a superstar player? I don't know. But that was an encouraging report from Ian Begley. Ian Begley, he tells you the truth. He's Mr. Reliable. Yeah. So I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Ryan.
Well, that does give me hope that the Knicks will be able to move him in the offseason. But now the thing with moving Julius Randle, because the purpose of moving Julius Randle would be to open more minutes for Obi, Cam Reddish, and the young guys. Right. But the thing is, when you move Julius Randle, you can't just get nothing back from him. Right. So it's going to have to be a move that makes sense for the Knicks from a roster standpoint. Like, who are you going to bring back for Julius Randle that's going to help the Knicks, but at the same time, Obi's able to get his minutes. Cam is still able to get his minutes. So I think that's going to be tough for the front office to figure out, because you just don't want to trade Julius Randle just for anything. Mm-hmm. You want to make sure you get pieces back that's going to actually help the team and not mess up, the young guys' minutes on the team who you're trying to develop. So what the answer may be, I'm not sure, but you'll say, the front office definitely has that, to think about as well.
Yeah, I feel like the fact that we have a bunch of expiring contracts, I think could help in that situation. If you have Julius Randle, right, who's a big piece, you add some expirings. We have Alec Burks as an expiring. We have Nerlens Noel as an expiring. I think if we could package that, because teams love expiring contracts, then maybe it can make sense. Because the thing is, we need 2-for-1 moves at this point.
Yeah, pretty much.
We need 2-for-1, 3-for-1 moves at this point. So if we do something like that where it's a 2-for-1 move, then it might be worth it. I don't know what deal is out there, but that's the capologist's job to do and Leon Rose's job to figure it out. But I do feel like there's a pathway to get to. All right. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. There's still some topics I want to talk about. I want to talk about RJ Barrett game. I want to talk about the lack of McBride and Grimes. I want to talk about the Mo Bamba versus Mitchell Robinson thing that kind of happened low key today, because Mitchell Robinson took Mo Bamba's cookies.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I was like, if anybody was thinking about bringing Mo Bamba here for Mitch Robinson at the end of the season, I'm like, this game just shows you right here. Mitch Robinson is mountains ahead of Mo Bamba right now. I would rather re-sign Mitch than bring Mo Bamba, but that's just me though.
My stance has always been if Mitch leaves, I want Mo Bamba. If I'm not taking Mo Bamba over Mitch. I'm taking Mo Bamba if Mitch. That's been my stance. And you saw, Mo Bamba got off once Mitch got off the floor. You saw that, right?
Yeah, he got a little something in, but when Mitch was on the floor, it was nothing.
Nah, it was clamps.
Nothing.
It was clamps. It was clamps.
It was done. It was nothing there.
Exactly. And shout out to the other guys too. I know some people might have been worried about the Brazdingis revenge game. Calm down, guys. The Brazdingis revenge game didn't happen. Even though he hit a mean step back, that's all that happened. The Knicks won by 30 points. Shout out to these boys, all right, cool. Now let's go. We got 4 callers up. Let's get to the first caller. I see Fritz says RJ from Jersey is up. All right, let's go. RJ from Jersey. Let us know what you want to talk about, sir.
Hey guys, how we doing tonight, man?
You going good, RJ?
Hey man, what's good, man?
Good, man. Yeah, it was. I kind of just want to briefly go over IQ and Obi again. We talk a lot about Quickley and his point guard play. Also, what gets overlooked with his playmaking is how efficient it comes as a passer.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't turn it over a lot, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Tonight he only had 1 turnover. I was kind of going over the stats. The last 18 games, he's averaging 4.5 assists to 1.0 turnovers. He doesn't turn it over a lot, and I think that's very important to have at that position.
I agree.
Yeah, and Obi, he looks really good, guys. And I don't know if I'm crazy to say, but is it that far to say he can eventually, pretty soon, maybe become like a 15-8 type of guy if he gets those minutes?
That's not.
I mean, yeah, right?
That's not
I like what I'm
unbelievable at
seeing.
all.
No, he was a plus 46 tonight in a game where we won by 30. He was a plus 46.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, we talk about his athleticism and dunking and all that stuff, but he's a really good passer. It's not even only the passing too, but when he gets the ball on the half court, he's just very quick to make a decision.
Yeah.
He's going to swing it or he's going to attack the hoop. And I think that's really where he differentiates from somebody like Randall, who's going to take it in the pinch post, and he'll take about, a good 5+ seconds to make a decision, and I think that's a big difference. And it is a small sample size. We are at the end of the year. I know the Magic are terrible. They're not really playing for much, but I like the way that we do run. I like the way we play without Julius in there. And so that's all I have. I just want to, maybe a little optimism, because I know it's not a great season, but there is hope. I was reading somewhere. I thought it was an excellent point. I was reading an article. Gosh, I forget what article it was, but it was a good point. It was like, we aren't in heaven, we aren't in hell, but we're in purgatory. We just got to figure out where we want to go. And I thought that was a really good point. So there's some hope. But you guys have a wonderful rest of the night, and I'll call you back on next game.
Absolutely, man. Shout out to my guy RJ. Good points. Got in, got out. Yeah, man. With Obi, 15-8 is super reasonable. I don't think that's even a stretch. I feel like 15-8, shooting maybe like 50-something% from the field, maybe 35, maybe like 37%, 35% from 3. I can see that for him easily next season if given the minutes and given the time. I don't even think that's a stretch.
Yeah, I think those are pretty reasonable numbers for him to reach, as long as he gets the minutes, like you said.
Yeah, and like you said, even with the passing, that's what I'm saying. The way he reads the game so quickly to me is why I feel like if he was ever to get a post game for real, and was able to post up small other bigs and not just small players, I think it would be a wrap, because I think he has, unlike Randall, I feel like he has the ability to kind of read the double teams way and take in the game information way faster, So I think if he was able to get a post game for real, he could be something. But that's a big if. To me, that's one of those things where it's a stretch, and that's development, and that's coaching, and that's trust, and that's like we're deliberately going to try to implement this into his game later on in the season. And right now, he's a guy who runs the field and runs with the flow. And also, shout out to him, made another great point about Quickley's assist-to-turnover ratio being super low. All right. Picks for Timmy says, when Obi starts pulling gravity as a shooter, it's going to get crazy out of here. Can you imagine the small ball unit with Quick, Grimes, RJ, Cam, and Obi? Yeah, that lineup might be crazy. That lineup might be crazy. A small, man. Woo. The speed in that lineup would be nuts.
Yeah. They'll be running up and down the court, and the defense, the flight around is going to be crazy.
Yo, please, basketball guys, let us get a real look at Cam Reddish. For real. Next caller up. Let us know what your name is, where you're from. Oh, and what you want to talk about. Oh, we got Tell him on the floor. Hold on. Testing. Yeah.
Hey, how you doing tonight, Jay Ellis? Hey, how you doing tonight? My man's with a new camera, the stats and the stats. Ryan G. Hey,
yes,
how you doing tonight? Nick of Time show. So, boom, check this out. First things first, special shout out to my fellow Canadian Iller, because I know he was watching tonight.
Oh, I know he was.
Did you think Ignis Brazdeikis was going to cook us? Get out of here with that. He wasn't going to cook nothing. There's a reason why we ain't had no roster spot for him. You think Coach Tibbs going to get him burned? Coach Tibbs don't even got room for Cameron Reddish. When it comes to Mr. Reddish, the rotations are locked in. That's it. Do you think Iggy's going to get burned? Heck no. That's number one. Number two, shout out to my Brooklyn goon, Obeezy, my Neezy, Obi Toppin.
Exactly.
He's clearly the future power forward of this team. That's number two. Number three, after the game, the interview, Rebecca Harlow bringing both IQ and Obi.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the unity. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all not even seeing the core is being developed right in front of our faces. The coach is a clown. He made a mistake all season long. IQ, Obi, Cameron Reddish, and RJ Barrett are the future.
Facts.
I just want to make it clear. Because last year, y'all dumb people wanted to trade RJ for Bradley Beal. That was stupid.
Facts.
And then y'all tried to tell me, Immanuel Quickley is not a point guard. Shut up. Second youngest Nick ever with a triple double. I don't care if he's a point, a 2, a 3, or 4. He's the best guard option we got.
Facts.
Especially with D-Rose injured. Open your eyes. Stop hating on your own talent. Boost up your talent. Develop them. And be patient with the development process. You're supposed to develop overnight? No. It's a season-long thing. I need multiple sample sizes, multiple 10-game sample sizes to know, does the Deuce need to get loose? Is Optimus Grimes quality? I need to know these things. So stop rushing with y'all judgment, because we got young goons, and they ready to dominate next year. Like I said, IQ, Cameron Reddish, Obi Toppin, and RJ Barrett. And last but not least, Wednesday, smoking on that Brooklyn Nets pack, baby.
Let's do it.
KNICKS. Knicks. Let's go!
Oh, yo, tell him brings the heat today. Full with impressions and all. We have a Quickley hater impression too to add on top of the Tibbs impression. The repertoire, man. That's versatile. That's what you call versatility, man. Like, tell him is the triple double of Knicks callers, all right? He's going to hit you with all statistical categories. He's going to hit you with the stats. He's going to give you an impression. He's going to give you the outlook. He's going to criticize the coach. He's going to give you it all, man. And then he's going to hang up and get back to his day, all right? Shout out to my guy. Tell him.
Best call so far tonight. Best call.
Best call so far. All right, yo, shout out to you, man. I don't even know do you want to even add on that? I was laughing so much.
I mean, he said it all right there. You know, the young core is definitely here. You know, and you just hope that Tibbs see it and it plays like young core. That's all you got to hope for at this moment.
Yeah, that's it. You need more than a sample size. You definitely need more than a sample size. And
exactly. Next
sample size up, McBride. Let's go, McBride. We need you to get more than 8 minutes today. All right.
Exactly. Yeah. Especially in a blog game where the Knicks was smacking the Magic. I don't know why Tibbs didn't play this man more minutes, but that's another, Yeah, that's another topic of discussion.
Yeah, and you know what? There was a point of the game that kind of pissed me off because the Magic bench outscored our bench, but you take that with a grain of salt because Obi Toppin's in the starters right now, right?
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. But when the Magic were smacking the Knicks bench, I feel like that was mostly on Taj. Taj was missing open layups. Taj was missing open threes.
Yeah.
And because of that, we were in bad position to get back on defense. And it was hitting us in transition. And at that point, I think they cut the game to 1, or they even might have briefly took the lead. And Tibbs calls a timeout and takes out Grimes and takes out McBride. And I'm sitting here like, that's not on, to me, I'm like, this is not on McBride and Grimes. This is not on them. This is on Taj. And shout out to Taj, because Taj has done an amazing job all season. This is not a roast Taj session. This is more about the coach's decision to take out everybody and not the players who might have contributed to the debacle that happened in that second quarter. But so we only have a few more games left. What do we have, like 3 games?
I believe so. Either 3 or 4 games. I gotta make sure.
Yeah, a few games left. We need Miles McBride to get more minutes. We need Miles McBride to get 20+ minutes in his next few games. It's kind of inexcusable at this point for him not to have it. All right. Next caller up. Hold on, we have our girl Misha up here. Misha from Georgia.
Okay.
Hey, Jay Ellis.
What's going on, Misha?
Listen. Let me just say shout out to you and Ryan, and just say, just wanted to say that I love your show as always.
Thank you.
And I'll have to look at the post game reviews before I came on to you. So I'm glad to be here. Shout out to you both. But I got a lot to talk about, so I'm gonna try to make it real quick.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So IQ, Obi, Mitch, RJ, and Reddish. Are y'all surprised? Why are y'all acting like y'all surprised? These guys are ballers. You hear me? They are ballers. They know how to play. The problem is they are rookies, and our coach do not like to play rookies. That's
a fact.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of time. I am not surprised at the way these boys are balling out. I got goosebumps right now just to see that they on the court and they are doing their thing. These guys, you give them some time, they will really light up this garden. I'm telling you, the back office knows what we got, right? Okay. Tibbs didn't want to play him, but our back office, they know what we got. It's just a matter of time. I've been saying this when we first signed Randall. I've been saying, get that bum out of here. There's no need for y'all to. There's no need for y'all to bring him here because our future look bright. Yeah, we need role players, to play their little role. We don't need no veterans to come up in here talking about they running the team or they own the garden or none of that. We don't need none of that. We need spanking new young bucks running up and down this court, got our adrenaline going, got our goose pimples popping, all that good stuff. That's all I'm saying. Let these boys do their thing, and we're going to be all right. Our future look good. Everything is lined up. The only problem is, in about a year or 2, we're going to have to pay at least 3 or 4 players.
Facts.
Maybe 5 players. We're going to have to pay these dudes to stay here in the next year, 2 years, and 3 years. That's going to be our biggest problem. That's all we need to be worrying about. You know what I'm saying? Randall could go over there to Texas and do his thing that way. He's not a bad player. Don't get me wrong. He's a good player. But he has to learn how to adjust to what's really going on.
Yeah.
And not take over. That's his that's why he's stressed out now, because everything is against him trying to push his way, and it's not working. So he's stressed out. You know what I'm saying? He's not a bum. He's not a bad player. He just got to learn how to adjust himself. That's it. Everybody else, Burke on his way out, Noel on his way out, Randall, bye. And so you know, I'm just excited about our future. Pay Robinson his money. You know what I'm saying? You know, give him something, but let him stay. I want him to stay. You know what I'm saying? So we got Robinson, like I said, we got Robinson, we got Reddish, we got RJ, we got Obi, we got IQ. We got them 5 right there, and then we trying to help out McBride and the other one. We trying to help them out, get them conditioned, get them ready to be out on the floor with our other 5. So, you know, next season we only looking at bringing in probably about 4 or 5 new players, and that's it. We straight.
Yeah.
We straight. We got nothing to worry about. The only thing y'all should be worrying about is how quick we could get Randall out of here.
That's it. Yeah, hit the nail on the head.
Pretty much.
If he wants to leave at this point. Shout out to Misha, man. Thank you for calling.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. I love you guys.
All right, absolutely.
All right, thanks. Thank you.
All right, Lady Knicks fans. Shout out to you, Lady Knicks, man. Thank you for calling. We need more Lady Knicks fans on.
Exactly. Y'all need to call, man. Y'all need to come through.
Yeah. Switch up the flow a little bit. I'm not even gonna lie, Misha. I'm not even gonna lie, Knicks Nation. I was having high hopes for Randall. I definitely was having high hopes for Randall. I was hoping that he can build on the success of last season. And it would have been one thing. You know, if he just had a bad shooting season. It's the attitude and the other stuff is like a little bit much for me. So like, and can he rebound? Possibly, but
he's a good rebounder. He's a good rebounder. He's not bad for his size. He's a good rebounder.
You know what? No, let me rephrase what I just said. Can he rebound from this bad season?
Oh, okay, I got you now.
My bad. I should have been more clear. Can he rebound from this bad season? Maybe he needs a shot, like a therapist, a sports therapist, or something to clear his head. But I don't know, like I've been saying, also, like my trust has been broken, man. My trust has kind of been broken. I'm kind of over it. Let's go with Obi. Let's go Obi at this point. And then
I just want to throw in something about Randall right quick. Yeah, man. Because like I've said in previous podcasts before, with Knicks fans, all you have to do really is you show effort. Like that's the bare minimum with Knicks fans. If you show effort, Knicks fans will pretty much forgive you for almost anything. You know, it's like the other day you said that's why there was a Frank hive. You know, a lot of people were saying that you know, Frank is a bust and this and that, blah, blah, blah. But the reason why Frank had fans here was because at least when he was in the game, he played with effort. He played defense.
Right.
You know, and I think even if Julius Randle had the bad attitude, I feel like if he actually got on the court and played with effort and showed that he was at least consistent defensively, even though he wasn't that great offensively this season compared to the previous season, I think Knicks fans would have forgave him a bit. Just for the simple fact that he was playing with effort. But there were there's been too many clips of Randall showing lackadaisical effort on defense, not getting back on defense when he turns over the ball, and things of that nature. And a lot of times I feel like when he did that on the court, it kind of spread throughout the team. And then the team around him wasn't playing with effort defensively and things of that nature. So I feel like Randall kind of, you know, it's the fact that he didn't play with effort, you know, lackadaisical effort. Then on top of that, the bad attitude, and then on top of that, you know, he wasn't as good as he was last season. Like all those things just clumped up together, and then the fact that he wanted to go against the fans, you know, like it was just too much for one season. I don't know if Randall can really bounce back from that, but if the Knicks do decide to keep him for next season, Randall has a whole lot of making up to do because this last season, fans want him traded for a quart of water and some chips. Honestly,
I know. I'm willing to do it myself. I'm not even gonna hold you. I'm willing to do it myself. and you know what? And like I said, I talked about this yesterday. Ryan wasn't here. He had a whole speech and he was talking about how he didn't request a trade. I actually believe him because Randall's just so easy to read. Randall's just so easy to read. I truly believe he did not request a trade. But his actions feel like he doesn't want to play here. You know, that's what his actions are telling me. But I don't think he verbally requested it. if I'm the front office, I'm still not ignoring all the actions, and I'm moving him personally. But which leads me to a question, Ryan. I've there's certain people who ask, what can we move Randall for? I've heard Malcolm Brogdon, and of course, to me, it wouldn't be straight up Malcolm Brogdon, because it'll be Malcolm Brogdon in pieces, if anything. Maybe Miles, I don't know, maybe Miles Turner or something, I don't know. But would you move Randall for the snake, Kristaps Porzingis? Because I shared the pics with Timmy, who asked me that in the comment section of the last post game.
Well, I'll say this. Here's the thing. When KP was here with the Knicks, it was under a different regime. And I know that KP did love playing in New York, despite, his rift with Phil Jackson and those guys that were here at the time. Mm-hmm. I know the Knicks need a stretch five. Kristaps would be that stretch five that the Knicks need. But the thing is, I would maybe consider it as a backup plan. That's not something I would pursue off the bat like that, because my first priority would be re-sign Mitch. And if I re-sign Mitch, I'm not pursuing the KP Julius Randle trade. If Mitch is gone, I might reconsider and be like, okay, is that a trade? But then again, it's like the fans, like, can that be repaired? The relationship between KP and the fans, like, you have to think about that as well. But like I said, that's not a trade that I would be pursuing, like, off the bat. Like, yeah, I'm going to definitely do this. Like, that would be something where it's like, if everything else fails, and it's like a last resort type thing, I'm going to be like, okay, I'll think about it then. But that's not one of the first moves I'm going to make, no.
More hated, Kristaps in his day, or hit Kristaps after the trade, or Julius Randle now?
Oh, that's hard. That's hard.
Who's more like, man, Ryan? I have my own personal policy. My own personal policy is I don't date toxic exes. All right. All right, exes are exes for a reason. All right. All right, let me be a little bit more serious now. A little more serious. All right. So here's the thing. Kristaps Porzingis, when he was here, I always felt like he had a lot of promise, but I don't know if you guys followed us, how long you guys followed us, but I was kind of nervous about getting him the max when he was with the Knicks. I don't know if you remember this, Ryan.
Yeah, I remember.
But I kind of decided maybe we should, because we had no choice. But I was kind of nervous, and I was nervous because I still wasn't convinced that he was a real number one option. Because to me, number one options are guys who can command double teams. And guys who, and he was getting stopped by point guard Marcus Smart in the post. No double team needed. So and as of the day, he's like he's a decent spot up shooter at 3-point line. Like, he shoots 30-something% from three. Kristaps Porzingis does.
Yeah, about.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, it's okay. Is it 30? What does he make? 36 million?
Yeah, that contract is big though. That contract is big.
36. Hold on, let me get the exact numbers. Kristaps Porzingis is making 31 million this year, 33 million next year, and then he has a player option for 36 million in 2023, 2024. I feel like that's a severe overpay for that guy. And he might have a better argument if he was able to be healthy, but he can't. He's never been able to play 50 plus games a season yet.
Yeah.
So I'm not. I can't. I can't do it. I can't spend $36 million on a guy or over $30 million on a guy who can't be healthy. That's just way too much for me. To be honest with you.
And like what you just said, like that also, at least for me anyway, it also relates to Brogdon as well, because I know the Knicks need a point guard. I know, people have said that they want Brogdon to come to the Knicks, but it's just the fact that Brogdon's been hurt. Like, I don't know if I can trust Brogdon to play 50 games in a season, especially lately with his injury history. So that's the only reason why I wouldn't pursue a trade with the Pacers with bringing Brogdon here as well. So, I would rather bring in somebody who I can, really depend on health-wise. And I know for a fact, like, this guy's going to play at least, like, 60 to 70 games at least in a season.
Like, for me to consider that, like, how many picks do you got? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's who you're going to have to give us some picks.
How many picks do you have to consider that? To even consider that? Like, you got to empty the cupboard for me. Because you're going to get 20, 10, and 5, and he's going to give you an attitude type of problem. But, KP might give you an attitude problem too. So, I mean, it doesn't seem like he's been well-liked wherever he's been either.
Yeah.
So we giving you attitude for attitude, but you're getting somebody who gives you an attitude, but he's more durable.
Yeah, and it's crazy because if you look at KP's stats, literally KP's best season was in a Knicks uniform. Since he got traded, he hasn't had a better season than he had with the Knicks that last season before he got traded.
Right. And Julius Randle at least commands double teams, and Kristaps cannot give you that. He can. So I mean, for me to even consider that, you got to empty the cupboard for me. But I'm looking elsewhere personally. I'm looking elsewhere. And that's just me. That's just me. All right. Just salute to the chat though. Thanks for the question picks for Timmy. Give us something interesting to talk about. I seen a couple of people on Knicks Twitter said they would do it. For sure. We're gonna get to the Mitch versus Mo Bamba conversation a little bit later, Drip. But shout out to Picks with Timmy, Prezi the Boss, JT Reddick, Stanley Mann, Ronnie Sannon. We surveyed 100 people. Everybody else is rocking with the KOT show. If you like the show so far, hit the like, subscribe button. Please comment after the show was over to help us push these algorithms up. And I read every comment, every single one. All right. Salute, 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 salute. All right. Cool. Next caller up. Shout out to my guy Big Reaper. I know you've been waiting for a while. Let us know what you want to talk about, sir.
Hey, what's up? Thank you guys for taking my call. Right off the bat, the guy who's wondering what Obi can do, honestly, if he started this year, Obi's, in my opinion, he's like 27, 28 player. And I think it all depends, right? Is he going to be leaking out? If he's leaking out all the time, he might be like 26. But if not, I think it could be like a 27, 28 kind of player.
You talking about 28 points per game?
20 points per game.
Interesting.
I think he can do. And it sounds optimistic, but he's just way too efficient. He scores way too easily. I mean, and he had a bad shooting game and he still hit 20. So it's just he gets too many easy buckets. That's part of it, and then he also gets free throws. He gets to the line, and so I think he's going to easily be a 28 player. And in terms of Julius, getting rid of him, honestly, in my opinion, I'm kind of in a camp of addition by subtraction because we didn't draft Julius. We picked him up in free agency, so it wasn't like we invested a lot of years training him up, and then now we're going to lose him. So if somebody we picked up in free agency didn't work out, we should count our blessings that he actually he's a walk in 2010. And I do think the contract is a little high, even for a 2010 player. But I think he's definitely movable. That's just what I think with that. In terms of this game, I'm really, really obviously IQ played a great game. I'm happy it seems like he's definitely arrived now and he's playing with more confidence. And I think a lot of it has to do with just has to do with them recognizing that Julius is no longer the guy. Because I felt like there was way too much politics on the court with IQ earlier in the season. Mm-hmm. And I think if, obviously there's probably other stuff going on. He's just getting more comfortable. But I think it also helped that when they just kind of came to the realization that like Julius was not a number one option anymore, I think he started I feel like he started making better decisions. But he played a great game today. The only beef I have with this game is obviously still with the coach. It doesn't make any sense why McBride is playing only 8 minutes.
Crazy.
The minutes with McBride and Burke should be flipped.
Absolutely.
So it just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. And Fournier, it wasn't too bad. At least he played. I think he was 16 minutes was not too bad. But the coach, I don't know what they're going to do about him. And the thing that was interesting today, I saw Johnny Bryant talking quite a lot to IQ and a few of the other players. So that was interesting. Me probably reading a little too much in it probably doesn't mean anything, but it was kind of interesting seeing that because they don't. I know they do talk to the players, but it felt like I don't know. It felt like they were talking a lot today.
I think what's happening with that is they have assistant coaches assigned to certain players.
Oh, okay.
So I think they have Bryant kind of works more with the guards and the wings, and I think Kenny Payne was kind of working with more of the big men. So that might be why he was talking to them more than anything.
Yeah. So, but overall, it was it's a pretty decent game in terms of Kristaps. Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with you guys. The fact that he hasn't even had a better season since he left the Knicks. I think we actually we definitely needed to count our lucky blessings that we didn't sign him to a long-term max deal.
Mm-hmm.
We would have been we would have been stuck.
Yeah.
We would have definitely been stuck.
We still been in it right now.
Yeah. And then the other thing with Kristaps too is is the rebounding. The one thing with Mitch is because Mitch doesn't get a ton of defensive rebounds, but he definitely clears out and makes space and gets a body on the man, so other people can rebound.
Yep.
And so the thing that saved us this year, I mean, we've had a bad season, but the reason why the bottom hasn't really totally fallen off is is because of our rebounding,
Yeah.
And if you go with a Kristaps, then if we lose Mitch and you have a Kristaps, that goes away. We're gonna go back to struggling to become struggle as a rebounding team. So
good point.
That's the only issue I have with that. If we lose Mitch Robinson, we just need to focus on getting a big man that can actually solid at protecting the paint and also helping the team rebounding, because that's very important in basketball, especially defensive rebounding. The other thing too was that kind of annoys me about Tibbs is I'm sorry. There's my little one has something to say about the game, I guess.
Okay. Let him know.
I don't know where the number 5 is. Hey guys, that's it. Thank you so much. Thanks for taking my call.
All right, man. Thanks for the call.
Happy early Father's Day to Big Reaper. All right.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, all good points though. The only thing that kind of worries me about moving Julius Randle, which I'm still in favor of, by the way, is the rebounding. Yeah, is the rebounding, because he does help us with rebounding, and if we lose Randle and Mitch, if we move Randle, then we definitely have to keep Mitch. We can't even play with that.
Yeah, exactly. It's Big Reaper said, Mitch may not grab a lot of defensive rebounds, but a lot of times he is blocking out, which allows guys like RJ, IQ, Obi, and other guys to grab the defensive rebounds. So Mitch is definitely valuable in that aspect.
Exactly. Shoot, Burks had 12 rebounds a couple of games ago, so you can definitely see it. So shout out to Reaper. Thank you for calling. Gunshots in the air for my guy JT Riddick. This is a $4.99 super chat. Says, yeah, salute KOT, salute Jay, Ryan G, shout out to IQ and Obi, who all had good games. Yeah, shout out to you, JT Riddick. Thank you for the super chat. Super chats helps grow the channel, helps pay writers and help fits.
Yep, and helps Ryan G get a new camera too.
And helps Ryan G get a new We got new cameras for Ryan G. We got new camera for Raw. We got cameras for Ryan G and Raw. We got microphones for Ryan G and Raw. We got lighting. It helps pay for the subscriptions. I don't buy Jordans or Ewings with these. All right, with the super chats. I use the super chats to help grow the channel and help keep things moving and upgrading and pay bills and stuff like that. So thank you guys for helping support the channel. Greatly appreciated. I still want to investigate some other upgrades too, but I'm looking into those guys. All right. Shout out to next call up. We got my guy Jason from the Lower East Side, who's up next. Jason, let us know what you want to talk about, sir.
What's up, fellas? I just got home. I actually haven't even seen the game.
Okay.
I got checked Twitter, and then I was like, I was like, let me call in the show because I want to ask these guys one question.
All right.
How did Mo Bamba look tonight?
Oh, we briefly talked about it, and good timing because we're actually about to get into that. Mo Bamba got his cookies taken by Mitch Robinson today. It was a massacre. It was a massacre.
Remember what I said about the idea of Mo Bamba is a lot better than the actual player.
Yeah, that's how it looked today. Yeah, that's how it looked today.
Yeah.
If you get him to be a backup, okay. But this idea of like this amazing stretch five that shoots threes, if that was who he was, why would the Magic not re-sign him?
I agree, and this is why I'll say. This is what I'm saying. I always say I want Mo Bamba if we lose Mitch. And Mo Bamba went off when Sims was in the game, not when Mitch was in the game. Mitch obviously read the scouting report because I never seen Mitch spread out to the 3-point line so efficiently before in my life. Because I remember early in the year, Miles Turner was lighting him up from three, and today Mitch was camped out at the 3-point line. He was hardly trying to help, but even though he helped a lot anyway, because he had 4 blocks on the night, 6 blocks tonight. Yeesh.
They're rivals, right? From high school, like they both in the same class. They're both like the 2 real tall freak athletes, so they've been rivals kind of ever since. So it makes sense that Mitch would have been ready for this game.
Yeah, he was absolutely ready. This might be the best I've ever seen Mitch guard the 3-point line from a stretch big before the whole season, like literally the whole season. So he was ready for him. But at the end of the game, Bamba got 13 points. I feel like once Mitch got to the bench, he went off. And Mitch's arms are so long that those closeouts are serious. He wasn't able to get shots off. Sims, he played pretty decent defense at the 3-point line. He was able to shoot over Sims, it seemed like. Had 13 points, 11 rebounds. 13 points, 11 rebounds on a night. So, I mean, statistically wise, not bad. 38% from the field.
How was his impact though? Was he getting cooked whenever he was in?
Nobody had an impact in this game on the Magic.
Pretty much. It was all Knicks.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask that because I remember we had this. I was telling you guys this a couple weeks ago. I was like, stop with the Mo Bamba talk. You guys talk about Mo Bamba like he's like this amazing. Like, you guys talk about Mo Bamba like, and I hate to bring his name up because he's who shall remain nameless, but you guys talk about him like he's Porzingis. If you talk about Mo Bamba, you would swear he was Porzingis before the injury.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it made more sense, especially earlier last year. I mean, it still made more sense to me. To me, the way RJ drives to the basket, you need to stretch 5 here at some point because it's just. He gets collapsed on way too many times, and he's a cheap option.
Yeah, but I'll say this though. Sorry to cut you off, man, but I'll say this though because today with the lineup, I think it was Mitch, Obi, IQ, RJ, and who else am I forgetting? You know the lineup I'm talking about, right? It was Mitch, Obi, RJ, IQ. Who's the 5th guy I'm missing? It's slipping my mind right now.
Was it Sims or Mitch? Because
No, it was Mitch. It was definitely Mitch, Obi, RJ, IQ. I'm trying to figure out who was the 5th guy. I think it was Burks.
Grimes?
It could be Burks, I believe. But that lineup where, I think because of IQ's play at the point guard position and the way that they were moving the ball quickly around, because the Magic were playing a 2-3 zone, and despite the Magic playing a 2-3 zone, it opened up space for RJ to still penetrate to the basket and finish layups at the basket. So to me, it's like, we do need a stretch 5 to create space for RJ, but it feels like with the team we have, we're still able to create that space even without that stretch 5.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, I'll just say this and then I'll hang up.
Okay.
I think stretch 5 is overrated. I think it's better to just play small with a 4 that's versatile, because they're all stretch 5s, unless they're like great players, they're usually terrible on defense. Guys like Kelly Olynyk and like, I don't know, there's a bunch of guys that are like Miles Turner's not really a stretch 5. He's only shooting like 32% from 3. Like, the guys that are actually good 3-point shooters, they usually are not good defensive players. So that's all I got.
All right,
cool.
All right, shout out to you. I'm still not down on Obama personally. I'm still not down on him. I still feel I like Mitch over Obama, but I'm still not down on him. I still feel like there is a value in that. And also, if you're looking at our coach too, our coach likes guys who can block shots, which is why I also talk about him, because we talked about playing Randall and Obi together. And we because of the coach's makeup, we know that's not going to happen, and not at least on large amounts of minutes. Which is why I was like, you know what, maybe we should go with Mobamba, because at least I know, because he's a guy who can block shots and get you some rebounds, he might be more willing to do that. And yeah, Mobamba shooting 37% from 3 this season, and it gives you 1.6 blocks. I think he's like top 10, somewhere in the top 10 in blocks in the season. And I'm not sure what Miles Turner is shooting from 3 this season. At one point, he was shooting 40%, which is why the Miles Turner talk was hyped up for a while. Then he dropped. So I'm not sure what his percentages are right now. I can always look it up.
Yeah, that's all I was just about to do too, and see if I can find his percentages.
But the thing for me with Miles Turner right now is cost and injury right now is Miles Turner. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Miles Turner is shooting, let me see, 33% from 3.
33% from 3. So he's definitely tailored off after the hot start, because December he was scorching. All right. Yo, shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to my guy Jason M. He says, you're right, Tibbs would play Mo Obama. I'd rather just get rid of Tibbs. Yeah. Tibbs is an enigma wrapped in a mystery, man. I have no idea what to do with Tibbs, man. Because I already know what's gonna happen this offseason, Ryan. They're gonna be talking about. They're gonna be like, well, Tibbs doesn't develop players, and then he's gonna point to IQ.
Yeah.
Then he's gonna point to RJ, and then he's gonna point to Mitch, and then he's gonna go, see. He's gonna go, see. I don't develop players. Like, that's what's gonna happen. So, Fritz, you want to get in here? Yeah, get in here, Fritz. Next call up, we got the mod of the hour, Fritz.
Hey, what's up, JL?
What's going on?
I just wanted to take a couple of observations in the game today. Like, without Julius Randle, it seemed like everybody was accountable on the floor today. Yeah. So, you can't even say this is Tibbs coaching, but like when a player would make mistakes, you see players correcting them. That's just something that you just can't have with Randall on the floor, because Randall, you just don't speak to him. So it didn't matter who. If RJ was making a mistake, RJ was getting pulled aside. If Obi was making a mistake, Obi was getting pulled aside. It's just strong culture. So I'm just thinking at this point, like, you got to get rid of Randall. You got to get rid of Randall. Yeah. I think the strong culture. This group really wants to stay together. This group really are feeding off each other. If he can't be part of the group, that he got to go. And that's one thing. I think that's his one thing. He doesn't want to be part of the group. He wants to lead the group.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you're talking about KP KP earlier. Man, if KP had to come back, he would have to come in humble. Like, no family, no perks.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Your brother can't come in the garden.
It would be
Your brother is not allowed.
Like a humbling return.
KP's brother is
would
not
be a
allowed
humbling
past
return,
security. All right? Not at all.
Yeah, so I think he could make it. I think he could make it back, but you would need a very dominant inside player to play with him. Like, you couldn't have someone who's just average alongside him. You need someone who's dominant inside because he is just not going to give you that part of the game.
Nope.
Yeah.
Absolutely right about
Yeah,
that.
but outside of that, that's all I wanted to say. Hey, thumbs up. Yeah, just wanted to hear what you guys would say about that.
All right, cool. Salute to you. Thank you, Fritz, for calling in. Yeah. All I have to say is, as far as accountability, yeah, I think accountability is the biggest, has been the biggest issue this season. The biggest rift between Knicks fans and the coach has been accountability and the lack thereof for Julius Randle. And I was glad to see that it happened today. Like, no Julius Randle today. We get a 29 assist game.
Yeah.
And 29 assist game with 9 turnovers. Like, you know what I'm saying? that seems like to be the trend. The turnovers are down, the assists are up. And that's the way you want to do it. Also, RJ Barrett, man. I ripped into RJ Barrett a little bit yesterday for his bad defense. Because his defense has been on a decline lately.
Yeah.
And he's had this thing where he wants to get 20 points a game. Now he's averaging 21 points a game. So congratulations to RJ Barrett. You reached that milestone. But I do feel like we've been talking about IQ having tunnel vision. And RJ's been having tunnel vision for like a couple of weeks now. Like he's been not really passing the ball, trying to drive the ball on 2 or 3 people, ignoring kickouts, not giving Mitch the ball as much. So, and I really noticed it really bad yesterday, which is why today I'm glad to see he had 6 assists. You know what I mean? So shout out to RJ Barrett, had 6 assists. But RJ, you should have had 7 assists, all right? You should have had 7.
You definitely should have had 7 assists.
You should have had 7 assists. So you know, Ryan G knows what I'm about to say.
Yep.
There was a play with IQ passed Obi the ball, and I think he got a dunk. And then right after that, he gives Obi like between the legs pass, and Obi hits a 3. And the crowd is chanting, Obi, Obi, Obi. I think RJ steals the ball. Of course, you know, when there's a fast break, who was the man ahead of everybody like all the time? Obi Toppin. Obi. Every time. Whenever there's a fast break, Obi is always ahead of the field. RJ, with the crowd chanting Obi, decides to go for the layup and get the foul. I'm just like, bruh. I'm like, come on, RJ, man. The crowd chanting Obi's name. Obi's there for the leak out. Throw that ball out for the lob. Throw the ball out to Obi for a lob for that 7th assist.
It would have been showtime because Obi had open lane and everything.
That would have brought the house down. But yeah, I digress, man. RJ still had a good game. 27 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. He did what he's supposed to do today. Shot 45% from the field. I just really wanted that. That lob from RJ to Obi. Keep the eyes open. Keep the eyes open, RJ. Don't get tunnel vision. All right.
Facts.
Oh yeah, and yeah, that's all I have to say about that. All right. So that is our show. Yo, the only thing. Hold up. You know what? Before I end the show, I wanna bring back a segment. All right. For those of you who never listened to the show before, there's a thing that we have ooh picks and bro picks. We used to have that way before when we had the weekly podcast. I have a bro pick.
Bruh. Okay.
Yeah, I have a bro pick. And a bro pick, for you guys who don't know, are the worst plays of the week. or not even just the worst plays of the week. It could just be something stupid that happened, and we pointed it out. All right? Now check this out. I'm gonna let you guys see this. Hopefully, you guys can see this clearly. Let me head to my Twitters. So, the Utah Jazz had a game the other day. And Utah was, Utah fans, they were kind of pissed. They're kind of pissed that Donovan Mitchell, he missed an easy pass to Gobert, who had his man sealed under the rim. They was pissed, right? And, rightfully so, whatever, cool. But somebody pointed out something else weird that happened. And if you look at the videotape, don't even pay attention to Gobert posting here. But Quinn Snyder is in the background. He drops his gum. He drops his gum on the floor, picks it up, and puts it back in his mouth.
Oh,
bruh. Look, watch that again. He's pointing. See Quinn Snyder pointing. Gum drops. Picks it up. Yell. Puts it back in his mouth.
Whose man's is this?
Whose man's is that, man? Is Quinn, are you married, sir? Does your wife kiss you with that dirty mouth, sir?
Bruh.
Oh, man.
Man. That's my bro pick, dog. That's my bro pick.
And the funny thing too, because I saw a stat on Twitter too, a crazy stat too. They said that Donovan Mitchell averages 2 passes to Rudy Gobert per game, not assists. 2 passes to Rudy Gobert per game.
2 passes. 2.
Bruh.
I know, man. I know there's been talk about, the rift between Gobert and Donovan Mitchell. That makes it seem like that's for real.
For real. How do you pass? Gobert's a big where it's like, that's easy buckets right there. How do you pass it? How do you average only 2 passes to him per game? Only 2?
Only 2. 2 passes. They was looking like RJ and Randall that other game. I swear those guys were passing each other up a couple of games ago when Randall was playing. That's just me. But, man, yeah, Quinn Snyder, you definitely get it. So, Brian Ham says 5-second rule low. Hell no, 5-second rule. I'm sorry.
Nah,
there is no
there ain't no 5-second rule. Nah.
There's no 5-second shot clock on gum hitting the floor and put it back in your mouth. I'm sorry. That's just different.
Nah.
That's different. Oh, man. All right. All right, man. That is our show. That is our show. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for supporting. Man, Ryan G, man. Looking really good. Ryan G looking good at HD. All right? Shout out to Ryan G. Good shots for Ryan G's camera. And lighting and all of that. Whew.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So that is our show. Ryan, we will be back on Wednesday. Like I said before, hit the like and subscribe button. And definitely comment right after the show is over. It's going to help us, the algorithm. And I read everything. I read all the comments. Sometimes I'm not able to answer all of them because I'm running around, but I definitely read all of them. All right? When I can, I'm going to try to answer all of them, every single one. All right? So, Ryan G, let them know where they can find you, sir.
You can find me on Instagram at Sir G is Chillin'.
Sir G is Chillin'.
That's SIR. G is CHILLIN. You can also find me at Sir G's Corner where I talk sports and Knicks basketball. I'm coming back soon, so be on the lookout for that. And you can also find me on Twitter at RyanGKOT.
All right. You already know where you can find your boy. We can find us on all social media at the KOT Show on Twitter, the Nick of Time Show on Instagram, and Nick of Time Show on Facebook. You can also, find us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. Everywhere you can listen to podcasts, you can listen to us there as well. And you can get your KOT merch at nickoftimeshow.com. All right, so just go to nicktimeshow.com, click catalog at the top, and get your blue and orange snapbacks or black and white, and also other tees like the Maple Mamba tee. All right, or the Whose Man's Is This tee, and other tees are available as well. All right, then. That is our show. Thank you guys for watching. And as always,
shout out the World Wide West. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess.
It's a mess out here in this YouTube and these streets. That's our show. Nets up next. We are out of here.
Peace.